you know, I tell people all the time, they need to always retrospect their life, right? People need to always, at all times, be able to go back in your own life and stop worrying about what everybody else doing. That's the best thing for you to do is to know yourself. Right? So you can understand, you know, where the guard, how to make the curves, how to straighten out. You know, I know where I fall short at, right? I know I'm not so great technically, you know, because we didn't grow up in this generation, but that's still not an excuse for us not to learn something. Right? But you'll take a young kid that's growing up in the tech age and they can tell us more about it. Just because this is the way they be. It's their culture.
Exactly.
And they'll be asking you what they would. They know all the. They know how to edit a story, but they want to know when they were doing back then and when they were selling. They want to know all about what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
I mean, when I watch, like I watch my daughter. Like,
how's your daughter?
She's 14.
14?
Yeah, my daughter 14.
Man, you got a 14-year-old?
Yeah.
You know what? You got a soft heart.
I don't know how soft it's gonna be in a minute. She's 14. It need to harden up a little bit. It need to harden up. But she's 14. You know what I'm saying? She's 14. I love her to death.
Daughters are hard, man.
Something just happened recently.
Daughters are hard.
I looked through her phone. I had to get her phone fixed, so I looked through her phone, and I called her mother. I was like, "What is this?" Like, so her mother like, "You need to talk to her." I'm like, can you talk to her? Like, I was lost with it.
What did they have? A bunch of these, Joe?
It was no, man. It was some boys in there. I didn't really understand that.
Like,
like,
14?
Yeah. So her mother like, well, what you was doing at 14? No, we're not gonna talk about what I was doing at 14. If I would have saw that at 14, then we talking about a whole nother conversation.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? No.
Right.
I didn't see that, but I didn't want to see what I saw. So you know, her mother talked to her, but it's still with them. Like I have an argument with my 14-year-old daughter about things that like, because she see on the internet, like a lot of things they see on the internet, they take for like
they think it's law.
Like I'm talking about like I have to argue with her about stuff that she'll see something about somebody. She'll be like, "Dad, you know he's a pedophile." I'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Like Barack Obama is not a pedophile, but it was on the internet. That no, what are you talking about? That is not true. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you have to argue with them about things they see as far as on there, and they'll take it to heart. You know what I'm saying? They'll take it to mean everything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So
go ahead.
You know, so
you talk
that's that with having a 14-year-old. I never I had her when I came home from I ain't gonna call it a vacation because wasn't nothing.
No, it wasn't nothing about that vacation. I don't know. Anybody tell you that they borderline dumb. There wasn't no vacation. You know. Okay, let me ask you this. What was some of the most immoral things about prison that I hear a lot of people say? To me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna just give my own experience was the worst thing they could have did, and I think this is part of what they do to dehumanize you. You have to strip, and you have to take all your clothes off. And you have to, as a man, you have to bend over. And you got to cough, and you got another man who you don't know where his thoughts are at. Just because he got a uniform on, don't mean he following the rules. We all see that. So you have to get to a point where, and you got to do this over and over and over.
I mean, the sad part about that is that after you do it so much, like if you can do something so bad, so much that it becomes normal.
It becomes normal.
And you'll do it in front of anybody and don't care. Like it could be, they tell you strip and you looking like, okay. Right. But I'm gonna tell you what's something that I think was one of the worst things ever. Sometimes when they transfer you from jail to jail, you have to get in new clothes. So they'll give you old drawers. You don't get new stuff. Like you transfer, they're gonna give you drawers that 150 people then put on their ass and be like, here, put these on.
Right.
And that's some of the crazy. And you can't be like, oh no, I ain't wearing no drawers. I'm just gonna free ball. They're gonna be like, nah, you gotta. So it's like it's so many levels of it that
it's a lot.
They know how to break it down. But one of the worst things for me to jail is just it's wasted time. It's the same thing over and over, day in and day out, day in and day out. Could you imagine doing the same thing every day? Like, so that's why, like, when some guys come out, like, they say, oh, they from like, they still like they from the 80s or from wherever they went in there. It's because that's all they do. You do the same thing. So if you're not one that like keep up on what's going on, keep up on what's changing. You know,
call every day.
Yeah,
call and find out what they're doing, where they're going,
like, you know,
what they wearing.
Like, for some people, like, I was blessed to have people in my life the whole time I was incarcerated. So I would talk to people almost every day until I ain't have minutes. I would write, I would have visits. But it's some people that go to jail that have none of that. I mean, they may do 20 years and never see nobody from the street, never get a visit.
No support at all.
Yeah, never talk to nobody.
Nobody to write.
You know, nobody to write.
Nobody to call.
To. So then when you have somebody like that and then they doing the same thing, they working out every day. Some of them can't read or write. And then you release them like, yeah, he gonna act like he was 20 years ago because that's all he know. Like, he can't act like jail no more because that structure's not there no more. You know what I'm saying? He can't work out anymore. They ain't feeding him every 3 days. So he goes back to what he left. And then when you come out here to the streets, that's like totally different. I think that can drive you a little insane. I think freedom for somebody like that can be a little overwhelming.